All right. I haven't talked about silver before. I talked about gold one time. I typically avoid talking about the metals just because um, they're just so heavily covered by so many opinions, and I guess I grow a little tired of hearing about them, even though they've been my easily my highest conviction positions. Silver's been my highest conviction position, which doesn't mean it's my biggest position. Gold is definitely in a bigger position, but silver is definitely a close second. And I'm just making this video to say I did sell some silver yesterday. It's the second sale I've made. I still have well over half of my original position. And I am going to be holding out for some triple digit over the long term for sure. But so why did I sell some yesterday? There's a few reasons why. One, I just want to keep my psychology strong. I want to take some money out of the market. And then, yeah, I can buy pullbacks, or, if something unexpected happens, like I don't expect this to come back in a huge, huge way. What do I mean by that? Like maybe coming back to, in the 20s to 30s. That's not an expectation. I could definitely see it come back to the low 40s again without too much trouble. So I just want to make sure I'm pulling some money out of the market, even though I do think this is going higher. And the reason I did it at 60, surprisingly, it's not the big round number. It really is, this fib. It's a first pretty long term fib target. It's a 618 extension, starting 1991, measured from 1991 up through when was this? 2011, and then the pullback down to 2020. So it's an extension off from that. And I don't use the 618 pretty very often for extensions in my trading, but where this is such a long-term chart. And I wanted to take some off. I thought this made a pretty good first target, though. Just looking at this pattern, this doesn't look like it's done, right? You really, if you see, a cup and handle type pattern, and it plays out the way it does in the books, it should go, roughly equal to this length if you follow that stuff. I don't use a lot of that in my trading, but I am aware of it, and I do, know roughly how a cup and handle is supposed to play out. I use more momentum signals and wave theory personally. But all that to say, I'm just my psychology is really important to me as I trade. It lets me keep trading. I had a lot of trouble when I first started getting in the market because the market hadn't paid me anything at that point, so everything was coming out of my own pocket when I took a loss. And I'd like to stay. I'd like to not be in that position again. So, got to pay yourself to keep that going because inevitably we lose. Something unexpected could happen here. For example, I'm just making this up on the spot. Like if this doesn't follow through, this would look like a big one, A, B, and then maybe a C that comes down to here to 14, which holy cow, or even lower because this is an overshooting B wave. If you look up like an Elliott wave expanding flat, you would see. They either come and test the low and then go, or they shoot just under the low and go. And I don't think that's what's happening here, but I can kind of see that in my mind as a possibility, possibly. This would be a really weird looking B wave if that's the case. Like this is three waves, but it doesn't look done. It's starting to lose any chance of being symmetrical. So I don't think that's the case. But if it does happen, I want to be able to say, hey, I sold some right off the top, and then I'll be ready to buy some down here. So yeah, that's one reason I sold. And commodities in general are known for doing these like explosive highs and then giving a ton of it back, or even all of it back. And yeah, you'll hear, especially commodity guys, probably the crypto guys too. They just pump and pump and pump, and it doesn't matter how high it's going, it's going to go higher. And again, I do think this is going higher, but you got to kind of drown out those voices. And it's just an example being like back when, is it 2022, when oil was over $100. The commodity guys, or the doom guys, were just pounding the table. It's not going to go below 100. It's going to go to 300. Got to get in now. And I mean, thank goodness I didn't listen to them. Right? Oil's now, what is it? Upper 50s. I don't have it up in front of me. Oil does look like it might be turning here. I'm definitely taking interest in oil, but I'm not going to get into that. But definitely a chart to watch. It's at least like XOP, XES, XLEs, those are looking pretty good, and they look like they may be starting wave fives right now. That's kind of my base case. So yeah, definitely look over there. But that's all I want to talk about on oil. Just some other things that are going on this chart. So this is a quarterly on the left, monthly on the right. We're testing this fib target, which this fib extension target, which I don't put a lot of weight in the 618 as a fib extension. I do as a retracement. We do have this momentum trend line on a quarterly basis that we're going to be coming up and testing. We just blew out the trend line on the monthly chart, so really no concerns there. I guess we're just testing this peak. Might even got over it. I'm not gonna get my microscope out and try and see if it took it out or not. I don't care that much. So we can also draw a few other fibs here, like maybe just look for like some clusters somewhere, kind of likely areas that it might start to consolidate. Let's make this one yellow just to make it a little. So these aren't terribly great levels for to pause at. Like if we're impulsive, you think this is going to go higher, but then why would it stop here for any major length of time? So but this one extension is, look at that. I mean, it's like 170, 150. It's hard to tell. $170. So it's hard to say. I know these are kind of crazy targets, but this was a crazy consolidation, right? You're talking about many decades where this base was made. So is it crazy to think it's not gonna really just go? I mean, I don't think it's that crazy. We've seen this before. We saw here it was 80 cents in 1947, and went up to $50. Right here it was 240 something, and then up to $50. These moves can get big, and they seem crazy nominally in your head, but when you look back at charts, these things happen. So this might go a lot higher. Just going to pay myself a little bit on the way up. Let's maybe draw a couple other fibs here. So we've got this one, we've got this little one here. Dare we draw one off this one here just to see? So this one starts back in the, hold on one second. This one starts in the 1931 to the peak of 80. And so this one, we're coming up to a 618, but that's all the way up at $80 here. So let's just color this maybe a little different just so I can see it with my eyes a little better. I'll try this purple out. So that would put it in this area of this 618 right here. So you'd have some multiple Fibonacci targets achieved in this area up here at 80. And then we can go and look higher. So there's not too much, maybe maybe it goes up to 568, overshoots to fulfill this $900 and then kind of consolidates up there. Whoa, that'd be crazy, right? Let's just stick to where we are now. I think 60 is a really good target. I think the next area I'm going to be looking, for some solid price action. Maybe some consolidation will be around $80. Let's call it 80. I don't use a lot of like top like forecasting trend lines, but maybe let's just draw a couple here on the shorter term. Let's see on the weekly. So on the weekly chart, let's take one moment. Yeah, let's take. So we've got one here. This one's been taken out. Let's go back. Let's work off these ones here. Actually, forgive me, I'm not going to use that. Let's take. I think I might prefer the monthly for this activity. So let's take the most conservative one, which would be this one right here. You could draw them from this, and obviously the further you go on the cup and draw a trend line up, the more aggressive it's going to be. So let's look at where this one is. So again, this one's kind of got you in that 80 range. So there's kind of some stuff kind of coming together right here. So we'll see what happens there. It still wouldn't look like a completion of this cup and handle pattern, but I'm kind of just looking for like when the next consolidation is, because this is This is pretty extended off the 18 period moving average, and typically you don't stay extended off the 18 period moving average very long, and you can look back over history and see that to be true. Um, so we're kind of right in that same vicinity here. But the one thing that's different this time, famous last words, we're putting this price action in after a huge base, so it's going to get a little crazy just to kind of fulfill what this is, um, what results from this. So, yeah, we'll hang in there, look around 80 area, see what happens. I mean, maybe we have FOMC. I think it's today. I should know that. I don't. Um, you know, we'll see what happens. Every day. But this is kind of my next area of interest. I think is right here at this really long 618 that starts in uh, a long time ago, and we'll see what happens there. And then after that, it gets worked off. I don't know. I'm not even going to talk about this stuff up here, although it looks good. It looks good. That's all I'll say for now. Hope you enjoyed this. Not financial advice, certainly not financial advice. Just having some fun with the chart. Um, Hopefully make some more videos soon. Maybe something will happen with FOMC worth talking about. I know a lot of this stuff I'm in and I've talked about. It's like so much has happened in the news and all that, but the charts really haven't changed all that much since I last covered anything. Oil's starting to look pretty good. Probably a couple other things I'm not thinking of right now, but I'll make maybe some updates here when something looks interesting. Right now, I'm kind of just hanging on and looking for changes in the market. So thanks for watching. Hope this is helpful. Have a great day.